On our lovely full moon, we have some messages for the lovely 5D collective. So let's begin with when you're conscious and you're unconscious. They become one with integration and that restorative embodiment life. Then you will know the 5D plane of oneness, consciousness, Christ consciousness, because your left and your right are friends. And self-help, both consulting and content, helps those people who are doing that personal development, because being your authentic self is all about the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way till 16, all your child parts being uncharged, and or you being able to be self-aware, accountable, and regulating when they come up. And then instead of projecting, you build those genuine relationships where you say, hey, I want to tell you all about my feelings today. And here you go. And you learn how to keep on doing that with the functional adult love language, which is also why IHP is bountiful for the how-tos, for the stories, for having fun, and the one-to-one mentorship and masterclass that is upcoming, which is going to be a limited number. So if you're interested, write me. And therefore, let's move to our second part. Epicurus, a lovely quote, not what we have, but what we enjoy constitutes our abundance. Yes, so if you have the body of you on point and on par, you're going to be like, I want to do more mindfulness and meditation. Why? Well, it's actually the 3 pillars of the mind. Supports integration of my brain. That's why. Wow, really? What else? Oh, well, also this thing called yoga. It's a portfolio of ventral vagal toning exercises. And since your body stores all that trauma stuff, the bones, the muscles, tissues, Peter Levine, come in. Bezel Vanderkook, so all the smart people, they can tell you all about it. And so you move from dysregulated to modulated, and then you're ready for restorative embodiment, self-aware life when you do personal development. So if you're not ready for that, then that would mean and tell me that you can keep on doing mindfulness meditation, and there's secular type as well as good EMDR, child parts work, and what was it? Somatics. Good therapists will support you to get in alignment so that you can contain. Thank you, Peter Levine. Once you can contain, now we have a person who's ready to do self-help stuff. But that's only if they want to. If they do this, I don't want to do it. I want life now. Then they're going to say it's bullshit and crap because they don't want to do the emotional stuff. They don't want to move into grown-up land. They like the adaptive child behavior pattern of the 16-year-old. It's the fight response. We all have it. I have her too, but I'm the grown-up in my prefrontal cortex because I married my conscious and unconscious. My left and right, they dance together, and my default mode network is down-regulated, and I have a restored embodiment, self-aware, so self-aware that interoception, who I can tell when anything's moving, which is why I'm a hypochondriac. Okay, so also as a mystic, light body, light body, light body, rainbow body, other body, your energy body keeps expanding exponentially. I am in the enlightenment soul age group though, so some other soul age groups, they won't necessarily move into that, but they can, but it's a work in progress because you want to make sure not to go offline. You know how a light bulb, if you overcharge it, yes, you don't want that. So smart people know that there's no shortcuts to your healing. Yeah, I know. The trauma charges, they have the capacity to be uncharged when you're conscious of the feelings and you don't do the fucking drinking, drugging, and numbing them consistent, then inner critic and outer critic. So it's only when you get out of shame, blame, fault, revenge. So it means you know no human is inherently good or evil. You don't blame Lucifer, devils, or demons anymore. You also don't romanticize and say, oh, life is hard, I have to suffer. There's only human suffering, only human suffering. There's a laundry. There's a Zen master who talks about laundry in my body. No laundry. It's a third attunement and repairing ruptures, and it's tending to your 1-year-old. It's called you can become your own safe haven, secure base. Secure attachment. Who says it's boring? Not me. No, not me. Who? The coaches who are trying to get people who don't have secure attachment to move into their health. Boring is the wrong word. See what happens when you're in your rest and rejuvenate, and you can then break down anything and everything into simple terms. Wow, it's not a movie. Yeah, you know what? Catch me if you can. He gets caught in real life and in the movie. And the movies are not as fun as real life. And then again, real life, let's see. So here's the deal. When you give and you love, it's without having any expectations if you're a functional adult. So genuine relationships, come on over. We're going to keep talking. This is the beauty of the capacity of you to straddle the worlds of the conscious and unconscious. And so you bring together the hands of fate. And whose fate? Well, it's your fate. And it is a fate that needs that lovely direction when lost in space. The direction you give it through self-awareness, and that comes when you're aware of your emotions and your thoughts not being irrefutable facts. So you don't lead with a 14-month-old likes and dislikes the karma stuff. Yeah, you expand to I'm a human with a subjective experience, and they are human. And so let me read you some quotes, and that's where conscious and unconscious. So your inner child world, you don't project it. You become a functional adult, and you say, hey, self of me, we're having a relationship, a chit chat, whatever it is. Okay, let's use some of our lovely therapy people out here. 1 second. I love, which one was I going to look for? Well, there's one with Peter Levine, but I'm going to use Ron Siegel. Nobody has an objective view. All of our views of reality are based on the accumulation of past experiences, most influenced by past hurts. Ron Siegel, Psych D. Now, that's for people who don't have self-awareness, accountability, and regulation in the forefront yet. When, on the other hand, you do, which is why you would be here. And on this full moon, basically, you are simply put aware of, I want, as the quote, to have people of Epicurus or whatever, I want to have people that I enjoy. Because every day I wake up and I give meaning with my secondary consciousness to life, and I love to do that, and I love to regulate my own 1-year-old, 3-year-old, and be here with my gooey ooey-ooey-ness, and then be with other people in my mammalian heritage. Because that is where your authentic self is no longer wearing a mask of let me get thumbs up from someone. You are reliant on your sense of self. Use your human name, and you are reliant on your sense of self-worth, which means you're humble, which means you're pacha. And like in Pacha land, we shake a hand, we mean it, and it's called I accept you and love you for who you are, and I don't make you work. It's not hard for you to be my friend or lover. No, what are you doing? I'm not holding on a cord and I'm not pulling you. Oh, and you can basically have all of those emotional things. Just keep it where you're not cursing at me with insult. If you start to blame me, project any of that, and you're not regulating your nervous system, I'm going to say, hey, you know what? You want to chit chat? Because what this is, seems to me you're really upset and you're actually projecting something. Oh, and we don't use big words. Yes, we don't weaponize psych education words, and we don't do that because we're not the martyrs, superiors, or the blamers. That's the low self-esteem, codependent, enmeshed people. So we say, okay, look, I think you're having one of those days. And I'm not going to say you're toxic because those are words we don't use. But the toxic family, well, they abandon each other. I'm not that. I'm family for real. And, you know, those people, they're not toxic. They just need a good therapist. So here, I'm a healthy, self-worth human being. I'm going to share with you that my feelings are kind of hurt. No, not really. I'm just upset. It all depends where you're at with the maturity. So for me, I'm pretty good at this, although I have to say it's very different when you live in close quarters, right? So my family, we have this Neapolitan, Naples, Italy spirit. So we get to yell and do everything and anything, and I love it. And so, yeah, I'm not a quiet. You bring me a formality, I'm pretty bored with all the formalities. I got one of my closest friends, the last time he did this thing to me, I was like, I waited. See, this is what a person who my somatic therapist teachers called angry Buddhist, but I'm a Christian. Thank you, Jesus. I love Buddhism and Buddhists and Buddha, meaning that I love all people, though. But I have one human being who I've looked up to my entire life because I was introduced to that person, Jesus, thank you, and his unconditional love. So his love is what led me to continue moving into the enlightenment journey and here, and God, of course, but you know, I call God Akash and the essence of life and love and source and a lot more so that we can keep it simple and disengage from making a story for enlightenment soul age group people, because there's no need for story, but it is where you're gooey and having fun when you wake up in the morning. You're not a flat line. Those people, I think they need a bath. Okay, so what I was trying to get to is body, mind. I don't use spirit as much. I'll use the heart because you keep the open heart. That's what Jesus taught me, and the fire. And I got my confirmation with Jesus, the Holy Spirit, my first light body expansion. It's very sad to note that the spiritual gifts that I noticed, mystics have them, and they could all come together. But you know what happens with Elsa Journey people, right? Does anybody know what a teenager wants when they're in high school? I remember my high school. There's an image, one of the pictures. They all had groups. Then there was one group, we were all mixed, all of us. We didn't want to be of only one group. And all those groups, they actually pointed fingers at each other. They don't understand me. They don't understand me. They don't understand. And we're like, we all understand each other. We're people. No, no. And so those who want to stay in their in group, because that's what it is, our mammalian heritage for the like 50 million years or something like that, even the 14-month-old. The 14-month-old, there are studies that show it will play nice with the teddy bear that likes the same cereal. And it will play hostile and not really want to play with the teddy bear that likes the cereal that they don't like. Enjoyment. So, if I look at it from a child's perspective, I'll say, well, that makes sense. Because you know what? I like to talk about people and as love, not as anything else. So if I'm around somebody who's talking about people like evil, which doesn't exist except for in a Michael Stone forensic criminologist scale, for me now, at this point in my lovely journey, I have enough information. It's provable. Like Patrick McNamara, he's proving stuff, but again, there's plenty of people, they bring to you ancient textbooks and say they can prove things. I'm the woo spiritual lady. What do I know? So long story short, what I was trying to get to is, I'm going to want to be around the people who are expanding consciousness, successful entrepreneur brains who can think out the box and not bring to me the same shit over and over and over again. It's just boring. So that's the part. This full moon, who do you enjoy? Intellectually, emotionally, and physically, by the way, because otherwise it's la la land. Yeah, la la land relationships, they're not really relationships. They're beautiful, but again, you're living it in the invisible plane, and tomorrow I might die. So I'm going to be able to have that oxytocin gene hormone thanks to me, and then thanks to being able to touch and look people in the eyes. That's how it works. So we build, again, genuine relationships, and that's by being our authentic self. This lovely full moon has given you the capacity to move out of stagnation as you become more of the self of you. And in fact, here's where, as one of the sentences I came up with, candlelight illuminates damage beneath the feet with wave of lights. And that is thanks to circumstances, is the first sentence that I meant, that in the night, Mary, laughing and handsome, and mirror with an invasion of reflection of trust, that which we have outside of us, I'm adding. And so with humanity, expanding consciousness, the lovely 5D mystic plane is fully lit with the fact that we know that you can be the person who has a very important role for yourself, safe haven, secure base, that's integration of brain, living the restorative embodiment self, which is you can be the most amazing of open hearts ever because of decency. I know, right? Equanimity, it's so nice to have neutrality and duality. The inner growth mindset, the advanced program, I had to create 3 levels, yeah. So at the 3rd, you get to implement that neutrality and duality and begin to navigate, oh, look, I have thoughts and feelings. Wow, I didn't know. Yes, you did, right? I did know that I'm giving love without expecting anything in return. So there's a door, you come and go. It's called compersion for the polyamory community, but also for monoamory, because I've been compersion in both cases. I became polyamory with my lovely twin flames. And, some people, they don't know that loving more people doesn't mean we don't love anyone. But we're not going to tell them that because I totally get it. They just don't, understand how infinite love is. Maybe one day. And in the meantime, thank you, Sadhguru. Give me 1 second as I find what I'm looking for, because today is a special day with this lovely full moon. Guru Purnima is not just a celebration. It is a commitment to evolve. How you experience your life is determined by you. May you realize ultimate liberation. Guru's grace is upon you. Love and blessings. Thank you, Sadhguru. And I know some people don't like him because he's a guru, but, he's sharing love. He has us promised to unconditionally love all 8 billion and more people. I'm going to say that's the same promise I had already made to Jesus. So I'm like, hey, Sadhguru, thanks for adding. Jesus told me already about this. So did God. So again, my brothers and sisters, may you realize the true purpose and potential of life on this Guru Purnima. May my grace is upon you. Thank you again, Sadhguru. So again, on this lovely day, he's having a live at some point throughout today. And then there's another word that I want to translate to you. Gu means darkness. Ru means dispeller. One who dispels your darkness is a guru. Now, one who dispels darkness within your own self is you. And so with self-awareness, you can say, oh, look, I have a left, it's chit-chatting. Oh, look, I have a right. All that is from here is coming up here. So I can say, I don't know. Do I think that the most precious thing is life itself? And will I realize this now or at my deathbed? Thank you, said Guru. Do I overflow with humanity and so divinity has to descend? Thank you, said Guru again. Do I have love in a way that is free and joyful? Or am I attached with bondage and misery? That's for those who don't own their 1-year-old. They do have this is a whole other side note. For most people, thank you, said Guru, love means you must do what I want you to do. And he says, no, love means you do what you want to do and I'll love you anyways. And then there's, oh, I love this one. If your perception transcends the limitations of your 5 senses, you are spiritual. So if you have interoception, I do. Raise your hand if you can feel everything that's going on. If you can't, don't worry. You can get here. I don't know how many. No, I'm kidding. What I'm going to say is it's a very serious business. Okay, so no racing, please. Integration of the brain made visible. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, is kindness and compassion. The road to integration can be incredibly energizing because what you are doing is helping someone heal and you are bringing out into the world the love and connection that is the birthright for all of us. And so he shares life as we move together to create more integration in our world. This is Dr. Daniel Siegel, and that some of us, those who are securely attached with this integration of the brain, the ones who continue with self-help personal development, this is me sharing and interjecting here, you could be the only person that is a secure attachment figure for another human being that they will have ever met so far, because luckily for us, we have a lot more therapists out there who are good at what they do, and they're telling, hey, stop. Behavior, no pathology. I can help you understand it. Now come do the work. Get out of the hellhole from your body. No need to stay in it. And you can find all the relationships that are genuine that you want, because at the end of the day, we are, in fact, gifts to each other. Your contribution to the world is you. Thank you, said Guru. How you live, how joyful you are, everything has an impact. So when you marry conscious and unconscious, that's because you choose to be the authentic you. And that means your child parts, you are willing and desiring and wanting to manage, and therefore you want to have functional adult love language relationships. And if you're a mystic, that is going to actually have you have a lot more fun with our clairs. And let's not use those words gifts, for our spiritual clairs are explainable by those who do look into the relational field. So we bring together spirituality, and human elements, I do with you. And in the one-to-one mentorship, it depends if we're doing spirituality or if we're doing human stuff alone. I know how to keep them separate, but I am a woo-woo, so I can use sometimes terms that you might be like, huh? And I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. That's for my mystic people. And if you're a spiritual mystic person, then come on over for that. Get out of the 4D. Yeah, they're doing a lot of things, very interesting, but they're forgetting the most important, which is you. Use your human name, unconditionally loving, with flaws and imperfections, with integrity. So the honor to share the truth as well with someone. Honesty is number 1 policy. The moral basic principles, like I learned from Jesus. I don't cast stones, no casting stones. No need to do the angry bit. That's for correction, and that's only when you have an angry squirrel, and that's somebody who doesn't know how to handle their 1-year-old or 3-year-old, and they might still need to process whatever it is that took place. And so their angry button, it's for them to tend to. And so if they don't want to tend to it, we don't have to make them. But anger is about correction. No one needs to correct anything when you're here in the present. You know why? It already happened. Not even a just happened. It's already gone. And the fact is, you're going to be your own state of consciousness. So I can be a Pacha. You might stick to being a Cusco for the rest of your life. I'm not going to be telling you about your 0, 1 to 8-year-old. You're going to say, it's not true, Maria. I'm not an adaptive child behavior pattern of me or maladaptive. I'm going to say you're a bitch and an evil witch and I don't like you. Okay, shall I go now? Because there's a door. So yes, the full moon. It's beautiful. We don't close those karmic circles in that way. Not the Dharma people. But then again, we do have experiences, and I'm going to remember it. Don't worry. I'm talking to Akash. I have my one karmic connection. I remember it. You see this face is because I remember as soon as it happened, just happened for a reason. You know what you're learning? Yes, I do. And it was my shortest lived relationship. In fact, And when it was over, as it was getting to be over, you still take time to process it and to allow yourself to completely let it go. But in the moment that things happen, like, oh, okay, this finally it happened. So it's really nice, to be an I am consistently presence and consciousness when you don't have the heart of you sever. So come on over for the restorative embodiment self-awareness life. It's really fun. It's called the Inner Growth Mindset and Journey for those of you who don't know. And you get to bring, again, the unconscious and conscious together and then build beautiful, fun relationships. And on this full moon, I'm most certain that most of you are having aha moments in ways that are joyful. And if there's any type of processing that is contemplative, it's about the quote that we began with. It's not what we have, it's what we enjoy that constitutes the abundance of your day to day. Because when you can savor relationships, it's because you are safe, haven, secure based people. So that's when you are in a family that is unconditionally loving and that has a dynamic where you can yell and laugh and do all of this, and you are all seen for the entirety of you, again, with your flaws and imperfections and your gooey, ooey, ooey, and that's always. And so that's because you're not looking, though, for these. So if somebody says, you're a piece of shit, really, tell me more. And so, again, we do constructive criticism in the absence of having to filter our words, because there's no people who have chips on their shoulders in the self-empowered, enlightened group. This is IHP. There's self-empowered people. Let me specify. You don't need to take your teenager and scold your teenager. Basically say, okay, fight. You're good. You saved me. You protected me. We're now moving into what is called social engagement. We don't want to do modulated fight, sympathetic stuff. We're not Braveheart and we're not Elsa on the journey. We actively know we have a 3-year-old in here. We want the 3-year-old to stay gooey, ooey, ooey, and the 1-year-old. So bring out the fun. Put the attitude alone. Let's contemplate with Jacob. This is the neutrality and duality. You're not scolding necessarily in a way of let me be mean to you. It's not inner critic or outer critic. It's more of, okay, let's work with that charge and get to equanimity. Okay, keeping that heart open, the mind open. And now, Krishna Lila, thank you for coming in. Thank you, Kali, for coming in, and Shiva. And there we go. And we're ready for the next day. Rumble and a rolling. We'll be back again with more. Like, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful full moon.